What's up, y'all, and welcome back. So the other day I saw a post. Someone shared a post from the Shade Room, and I thought it was interesting because recently Capital One got a spanking because it was like a high yield savings or a savings account that they weren't making their customers aware of. And so basically customers lost out on a lot of money when it came to interest payments. And I went through the comments because once again, that's how I do my observing of people. And I was shocked because a lot of people weren't understanding that they weren't talking about the interest that they paid in due to their credit card debt. They were talking about other type of debt that they have. They were talking about interest that was actually owed to them that they would be earning on their savings account. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to be splitting the word interest in half. One side for the good side of interest and then the other side for the bad side of interest. And we're going to be talking about how interest can make or break you. If you are new here, I will say as a disclaimer, I do fully understand that the title of this video was absolutely ridiculous and it was really extra, but unfortunately you have to have absolutely ridiculous and extra titles just for your videos to even get out there. And I know that this is something important. This is obviously something that we need to be talking about. So make sure that you like and share this with someone who may need this information. All right, so we are going to ease ourselves into this topic and start off with the good side of interest. And I always say, like, you're on the good side of interest whenever the money is being paid to you. When it comes to interest, somebody is always profiting. It's either going to be you or it's going to be someone else. But with the good side of interest, the person's going to be you. And this is something that you earned from your contributions, like in a savings account, or maybe if you have an investment account like a Roth IRA. And if you don't have anything, so if you are not yet someone that is on the good side of interest, I always recommend starting off with something like a high yield savings account, because once again, we need to have something set aside like an emergency fund. So you might as well get paid more for your contributions than you would in a traditional savings. And with a high yield savings, if the bank goes downhill, your funds are protected. They are typically federally insured up to a specific limit. And I have mine through Ally. I love Ally, always recommend Ally. And I think right now the APY is like 3.8%. And when I say APY, that's typically a good sign that you're on the good side of interest. This is the annual percentage yield. And basically, because we keep it simple, stupid here, that is the amount of interest that you can expect to earn over a year's time. And it is going to include compounding. Now, remember this word, because we're also going to talk about it when we talk about the bad side of interest. I am losing my sunlight here. All right, so hopefully you can see me. But back to what we were talking about when we were discussing compounding. When it comes to the good side of interest, this is when your interest is earning interest. So let's say that your initial contribution is $1,000. And when I say initial contribution, I'm talking about the amount that you open your savings account with. So if next month, which is February, you open up a high yield savings and you deposit $1,000, then that means, let's say after you get your interest payment, it added $2. You got a $2 interest payment. It added that $2 to your $1,000 balance. So your balance is now $1,002. That means the next time around or the next month around, whenever you get your interest payment, you're earning interest now on $1,002. So obviously this helps to accelerate your savings growth. And if you want to take it a step further, get into investments. Investments like, let's say a Roth IRA, because like with my Roth IRA, I invest in ETFs, which are exchange traded funds, a collection of stocks and bonds, basically. The average rate of return for an ETF is something like 9 to 10% a year. High yield savings, 3.8 APY. An investment, about, let's say, an average rate of return of 9 to 10% a year. obviously you're going to be earning good money for the money that you're contributing. So this is the good side of interest, but with every good thing may come a bad thing. So let's turn the topic to bad interest. So unfortunately, I think that a lot of us have been on the bad side of interest. And once again, when it comes to interest, somebody is making money. You know you're on the wrong side of interest when you are the one making payments to someone else. But you typically pay interest on things like credit card debt, loans, like mortgages, auto loans, personal loans, student loans. And remember when I told you to hold on to that word compounding. Just like compounding can accelerate your savings growth, compounding can accelerate you actually losing money, because when it comes to certain debts, the interest compounds. And one debt in which many of us know it compounds is credit card debt. And credit card debt compounds daily. Now, this doesn't mean that you are going to go in and see money being added to your balance every single day, but you will notice that the payment that you made did not fully go to your balance unless you have a 0% intro APR credit card. Part of that payment went to your interest, the interest that was owed. And this is literally what makes something like credit card debt so hard to pay off. It's because you are having to compete with interest. Your payment, whatever payment that you decide to make, is not going to the full principal. And also, you can use what you just paid off. I tend to say something like, let's say an auto loan or a personal loan may be a better debt to owe on than a credit card, because once you make that payment into your auto loan or that personal loan, you can't pull any money out and use that again. With a credit card, once you pay $200 on it, whatever, they take whatever out in interest, maybe they take $30 out in interest. That means $170 you have to use again. And you get trapped in what I call the yo-yo effect, in which the balance goes up, the balance goes down, the balance goes up, the balance goes down. And that is because whatever you pay off, you have access to use again. It's the trickery. The trickery will get you. The trickery has gotten me multiple times. But let's take a look at how you can calculate your daily interest to fight against compounding. Now, the interest is often expressed as an APR, or an annual percentage rate, and this is the amount of interest that is charged over a year's time. And to calculate that daily APR, you're going to need to divide your APR by 365 for the number of days in a year. So as an example, let's say that our APR is 20%. We are going to take 0.20 and divide it by 365, which equals 0.000548. Now, we are not just going to stop there. Now, let's say that your average daily balance is $1,200. Typically, that is the amount that you carry. We're going to take that 0.000548 and times it by 1,200. And that's going to equal 0.66. So 66 cents basically. Now we have, let's say, a 30-day billing cycle. So we're going to take that 66 cents, 0.66 times 30, and that's going to equal $19.80. So that means for that billing period or billing cycle, you're basically being charged $20. $20 is going to be added into that balance. And so interest is going to start accruing on that balance plus the $20. So you have about $20 working against you. But keep in mind, if you make your minimum payment is like $40, then that means you still have an amount going towards lowering that balance. But let's take a look at another example. So I do believe for this, I used a balance of $2,000, saying that we owe $2,000 in credit card debt and our APR is 20%. I just wanted to see how long will that take us to pay off if we just make the minimum payment, because once again, we have interest working against us. So our estimated monthly payment is $54. And so if we just make the minimum payment, the total interest that we are going to pay over the course of 4 years, because it's going to take us 4 years to pay off, for just $2,000 is $1,137.80. That is how much money you will be paying to someone else in interest. And then the total amount of payments that you're going to make is $3,137.80. So remember, initially your balance is $2,000. You would be paying a total of $3,137, because once again, interest is someone's profit, but when it comes to the bad side of interest, the money's not coming to you. So I'm not gonna make this video super long. Hopefully this was super helpful to you guys. Once again, share with someone who may need this information. Leave down below what side of interest that you are on, and I will catch you guys in the next one.